item on the agenda, the minutes for the January 9th meeting.
I move their approval, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Jeff, there's a second.
I'll second.
Second by Dan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Motion carries. Minutes of the January 31st special meeting.
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second by Jeff. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Claims against the county.
I would move that we pay the claims against the county.
Motion by Ben, there's a second.
Yeah, that's all the bills.
I have a question.
Okay.
There was 3 checks made out to Knight and Associates for surveying, and according to the state, they have pulled the funds out for Knight and Associates. Are these bills that were projects that they're paying for before the removal of the funding?
Is there somebody from the highway here that can answer that question?
Is there in here?
We'd have to go pull the paperwork on that.
That's all right. I just wondered if maybe the projects that were completed before the state pulled the funding for a particular project.
What makes you think they did that?
Oh, the letter, it says it did.
Sure. If I remember right, that was an agreement for some future project, if I remember right.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
These were projects that had already been completed by the survey company. If not, then the money would have to come from the county, not from the state.
Well, that doesn't say where it's coming from.
Well, this is from Aaron Lawson. It's not from the state. It says they pulled it.
I know it's not coming out of motor fuel.
Okay, well,
And that
that's
was
the
what,
question.
that was the
Okay.
question on
Yeah.
that previous
Okay, that's fine, just ask.
problem, yes.
Okay. That's fine.
This is actually, I think it's County Bridge. Yes.
So the project's already been completed.
Yeah, that's separate from the motor fuel tax, but yes.
I just saw the name of that survey company, and I saw the list, approving on this.
I second.
Motion by Jeff, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. County board members' claims.
We did that. Oh, I'll make a motion that we pay that.
Seconded by Jeff. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item on the agenda, public session. Any comments?
Mr. Patrick, you had a question for me in regards to the driveway investigation that IDOT was doing. Would you like to share what those results were?
Do you have the results?
No, I do not. That's why I didn't last time, and I still don't have the results. Would you like to share those? You said you had the results.
I have, no.
Okay. The quote that I said, this is directly off the video, there is ongoing investigations. I turned and looked at you in the audience and I said, Mr. Patrick, you're actually part of an IDOT investigation. I don't know if you're aware of that or not, comma, for free driveways. You're going to be a new county board member. You sit out at the airport. Were you aware of this breastfeeding thing? And you said no comment. That was my statement, sir. What you implied at the last meeting was incorrect. How much was the CD gifted to the airport? No comment? Who gifted it to the airport? No comment. No matter what statute you want to operate under out there, any person desiring to make any donation or legacy of any money, personal property, or real estate for the benefit of such airport shall have the right to vest the title to the money, personal property, or real estate so donated in the board of directors. The other statute is in commissioner's control. to be held and controlled by such board when accepted according to the terms of the deed, gift, or legacy of such property, and as such property, the board of directors shall be held and considered to be special trustees, and shall include in the annual report a complete report of their acts as such trustees. Where in an annual report has that CD been disclosed? It's in the minutes, but it's not in the records with the treasurer's office. The treasurer is responsible for all revenue in this county. Why hasn't the CD been reported to the treasurer? You were the chairman of that board for 25 years, I believe, is what you told the Farm Bureau when you ran for election. Under what authority permits you to put your name and Jimmy Wells' name on that CD? No comment again. Who's managing the money reported in the airport minutes for the pancake breakfast? You said that it was a separate entity at the last meeting. Why is private business revenue being discussed and documented in public records for the minutes? A little bit of commingling out there. What statute are you operating under at the airport? I asked that in November, I've asked in December, I've asked in January, I've asked in February. Any idea? No comment. Under the specific statute that applies, whether you pick one or the other, doesn't matter. Vacancies in the board of directors, occasional by removal, resignation, or otherwise, shall be reported to the county board or the governing authorities of the respective taxing body appointing the director, and shall be filled in like manner as original appointments. No director shall receive compensation as such or be interested either directly or indirectly in the purchase or sale of any supplies or equipment, land or other facilities, or in any contract on behalf of the airport landing field. 2008, 2009, and 2010, Mr. Patrick, you billed and received over $7,000, presumably ready mix, on behalf of the airport. Do you not see that as a conflict of interest, sir? No comment? In December, your very first month in office, you sent 3 different invoices to this public body. You're the chairman of this public body. You received payments for that. Is that not a conflict of interest? No comment. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your comments. Anybody else?
With respect to the CD, when funds are donated, they become public funds, and the public has a right to know, not an option to click and know. And I think you have to tell people who it came from, how much it was, where it was spent, and if there's still any left. It's a right to know, not an option. Number 12 on your agenda. Chrisman Area Community Club. Is that the name of the organization? Does anybody know? Are they a not-for-profit? Are they registered with the state? Not showing up on their website.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I'm Mayor of Metcalf. On behalf of Metcalf, we're in jeopardy of our project Ike grant and our stop sign project, and I'm here on behalf of the village of Metcalf to find answers why there's a conflict that stopped or possibly stopped our projects and our money that the state had awarded our village. I'm asking the board to find answers for us.
Thank you.
I'm Mayor Brockton. I've got the same request. I'd like some answers. You know, we've been informed that our stop sign grant is on hold now because of conflict of interest with the county board, and our Ike grant, which is a very interesting drainage project going on in Brockton, very necessary project, and I'd like to know what's going on with it.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You said you'd been informed that the money had been stopped.
That's what I was informed.
Did you get that in writing?
No.
If you could get a copy of that in writing, I would really like to see it.
If I get it in writing, I'll get it to you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I got to inform you of that.
Michael, I should be informed of this.
I was told this by the county highway.
Is that the same place you just told that? Who's the one who told you that you didn't? Okay.
I assume the county highway engineer.
When you say county highway, who is the county highway?
I talked to Jimmy Moorcraft one day last week, and he told me that the stop sign project was on hold. and that with the Ike grant project was in jeopardy
And if it causes a conflict.
because of the conflict of interest that's going on with IDOT and Chris Patrick.
Yeah, I thought the money's already been.
Yeah, we was told by Aaron that the money was already allocated for that, and we already had that.
Well, let me reiterate on that. That money on that Ike grant project comes to Brockton and to Metcalf. We administer that. That
Yes, I
money
was talking
comes
about
to us.
signs.
And it's my understanding that this county board has signed contracts that has taken over control with our contractors to do this job. Now, I can't tell you the legalities of it. I don't know. That's why I'm here today, to find out. You obviously don't have the answers, but I would sure like to have them myself, as would Cheryl.
Trish
As would
Vitale,
Candace.
Trish Vitale, who is administrating the Ike projects for Edgar County Highway Department, did tell me that it is possible that it will affect our grants because we have an intergovernmental agreement with the Edgar County Highway Department.
I've talked to Aaron Lawson a couple times, and he also made the same basic statement that the funding is on hold until the conflict of interest is resolved. And I've talked to him a couple times, and I am on the motor fuel tax committee.
You're chairman of
Right, and that's his comment.
Both of these projects have timeline deadlines,
And it's coming quick.
and they're coming quick, and we simply can't afford to wait on just getting it postponed and put off and put off. That's why I took a day off work to be here today. So I'd like some answers.
Actually, we'd all like some answers, quite frankly. Anybody else? Well, thank you all for your comments. We'll move forward, the next item on the agenda. A motion to commit appropriation funds to, somebody say something? Motion to commit to appropriate funds to various departments for non-elected employee salary increases, with said increases determined by department heads.
Mr. Chairman, the amount we're talking about with new appropriations that we're committing to is $17,650. The total recommendation of both not new, but already appropriated and new commitment is $18,650. The committee has reviewed that, looked at each department, and we will be going, if this motion passes, we will go out to each department, let them know how we did it, let them then deal with it however they deem appropriate. So I would like to move the approval of the motion.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
This is not to hire new people, this is just to pay people that already, positions that already exist.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Boyd, when was the last time any county office employees received an increase?
Well, some have already received. It's not a clear picture. Some departments included stuff in their budget for this fiscal year and have already given increases. We are going back to the departments that did not do that to catch them up and give them fresh monies to go ahead and do that.
To answer your question, this is the third year, several employees have not, majority of the employees, non-union employees have not had a pay increase.
I know that my office did not receive a standard increase for at least the third year.
So this hopefully will help in those departments.
Thank you.
And can I make one comment, just to reiterate for the record that this is for non-elected employees
And non-union.
and non-union.
I've got a motion on the floor by Jeff, is there a second?
I second.
Second by Dan. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Motion carried. Next item on the agenda, a motion to appoint Pete Stein to the East Central Illinois Mass Transit Board of Edgar County.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mike, is there a second?
I second.
Second by Dan. Any other discussion? Hearing none, I entertain, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Next item, a resolution approving oath and bond and appointment of Dennis Carey as trustee of Brockton Community Fire Protection District.
So moved.
A motion by Jeff, second by Ben. Roll call.
Voight,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Barnum,
Yes.
Helsley,
Yes.
Janice.
Yes.
Number 12, action on request from the Chrisman Area Community Club to help support economic development with funds from county hotel motel fund.
Mr. Chairman, what they're asking for is $600 for advertising of a project they're having where they're having multiple vendors come to the park for a day, and they wanted money for advertising.
You know what kind of multiple vendors on
Lawn equipment, fertilizer, different things that pertain to, is that right? What pertains
We could
to?
say mulch, nursery products, Brown's from Cub Cadet is gonna have lawnmowers, John Craig is gonna have his thing. There's gonna be a Jeep rally up there. There's gonna be multiple things.
Okay.
But it's all county vendors.
Nurseries, right?
Nurseries, no out of county. It's
Okay.
just for county vendors. And they'd like the advertising to bring in outside people.
And the fund that the money comes from is actually produced by the bed and breakfasts in the Christmas. Isn't that correct, Don?
That is correct. The only money that's been going into the county hotel tax fund has been generated at the, that bed and breakfast up there. I can't remember.
Over again?
So it's safe, there's not another one in Edgar County other than the ones in northern Edgar County that's generating any money that costs anything?
At one time, out on, west on 36, the Randall property, I think, contributed it. That, I don't know how many years ago that's been. And just so, I don't know what happens with the Super 8 and Parisian Motel. I'm assuming they pay into
They pay in
the
Paris.
corporate authorities of Paris.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. So the only money that I ever receive on a regular basis is from the old Brickman.
So the one south of Grandview and the one south of Kansas, you haven't seen any money from those in a while then?
Not from, no, that does ring a bell, though. I think that,
$50.
yeah,
How much is in that fund approximately?
it's on your list.
Yeah, it's on
I think 3,800.
It's gone, I think.
3,800.
Carriage tell me there's one south of Kansas. I remember a bed and breakfast down there, but I didn't know.
Oh, I'm talking about the one in Paris.
Well, that's all goes to Paris, though. That doesn't,
Oh.
that's. yeah,
I'll be
that's
glad to
distinct.
look into that. I mean,
Actually, we used to get all the money from the hotel motel, and actually, even before I got on the board, Paris found out that they had the right to take that if they wanted, and they did. Because we, actually, at one time, the county had quite a bit of money in there that they gave to any city that had a project that they wanted money for, but then, now that's Paris, and there's very little other than that.
Well, that was my point of question, was that the majority of the money's coming from the Christmas area, and this is a Christmas area event, and that's probably where the money should go.
I'll make a motion to give them $600.
I'll second it.
Motion by Dan, second by Ben. Any other discussion? All in favor?
I'd like a roll call, please.
You want a roll call?
Yes.
Roll call.
Voight,
Abstain?
Brunner,
Yes.
Barnum,
Yes.
Helsley,
Yes.
Janice.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next item on the agenda, motion to acknowledge final transfer of warranty deed and escrow to Eric and Nicole Jonesy, doing business as Edgar County Special Service Area Ambulance.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Jeff, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mike, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, next item. Resolution authorizing county board chairman to execute deed of conveyance for the following property as recommended by Joseph B. Meyer, Edgar County Tax Agent. Parcel 09-13-35-477-015 Samuel L. Maxwell. Parcel 09-18-01-407-020 Parish School District number 95.
So moved.
Motion by Jeff, second by Carl. Roll call.
Voigt,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Farnham,
Yes.
Helpsley,
Yes.
Janice.
Yes.
Is carried. Next item, motion to authorizing Edgar County Sheriff to execute right of entry agreement with Illinois Central Management Services to the Illinois Central Network to install fiber optic cables at Edgar County Jail. I entertain a motion.
Oh,
I want to know about dollars.
Yeah, is that in his budget?
Is that whether it cost anything or?
He's not. Is anybody here representative?
He said he was supposed to be here, but I obviously seen him.
No,
I do not know. I'm not gonna take my hand.
I gave each of you a copy of
Right, we
the
have
contract.
If I remember, I read through this, and I don't remember there being any
I don't
cost.
think there is.
I don't believe there is, but I don't want to sit here and tell you because I don't know. for
Kind of
sure.
like any table, let them. If there are questions, we can table this to the next meeting if that's.
I make a motion that we table that until we know exactly what it's.
No, other than Ross was telling me that we're the ones holding up the whole project.
Do you want me to?
And so now whatever you want to do, that's just what he told me.
If you would, please.
I'll call and, would you excuse me?
Well, if it needs to be done, it needs to be done. Let's find out a little more.
We could just skip over this and go to another section of the agenda if you want.
See what you find out, and we'll go around that one for a minute, lack of information. Officer and department head reports. Since I forgot you last time, you want me to go first?
I'd like to report to the board that since we last met, we had to convene the Edgar County Officers Electoral Board by statute, which was the first time that the county's ever had to do this, regarding some objections to nominating petitions for candidates down in, some of the candidates down in Clark Edgar Water District. We've met, and those issues seem to have been dealt with, so we're done with that. We have been busy certifying ballots, ballot certifications for the upcoming April 9th election, and so we've been busy getting ready for that. Just busy answering a lot of FOIA requests, and I think that's all. Oh, yeah, and also want to invite everybody to my third annual Valentine's Day luncheon. That's tomorrow. You're all welcome to come. It's over in the voting center, which is just across from my office.
What's to eat?
What
do you have?
What do you bring?
Kind of what I thought.
It's my employees and I are supplying the food and everything, so it's just, and animal shelter is going in with us, and so is ESDA. And it's just our way of saying thank you. We appreciate everybody's cooperation that we work with. So you're all invited to that tomorrow from 11 to 1. You don't have to bring a thing. Sure. Thank you.
Any other animal shelters?
Everything's running smooth, no new news.
Karen?
We're good. Just to let the board know, we did start a 2-week trial next Tuesday, since we're gone Monday, so I think security will be beefed up at the courthouse, but we don't anticipate any problems.
We will be sending out letters today. We are hosting a first responders meeting for all of Edgar County first responders. Everyone will be receiving a letter hopefully by tomorrow. The next day we'll follow up with email. It is March 6th at 6 p.m. at the training center, fire department training center. So we encourage all board members to come, and again, any first responder from Edgar County, which they will receive a letter.
Thank you. John?
As you can see from the report, we're kind of holding our ground, even though we've had a demand batch, a regular batch, and a couple, 3 payrolls here. We're still holding our ground, so compared to a year ago, you can see we're about $210,000 better on our cash flow. As far as anything else going on, the audit is slowly winding down. They're doing a few follow-ups with some of the departments just to get a little bit of information. But other than that, I'm getting the impression that by the end of this week we will and then be doing the final stuff at their home location as far as their office. That's what I've been led to believe anyway. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you. Did I miss anybody? If not, we're going to revert back to item 15, and Jeff, give us a little report.
I talked to Ross. This is simply an agreement for them to put the fiber optics in the building. There's no cost associated with it. We have a separate agreement which allows them to actually have service out there, and we get in kind from them, use and so forth. So there is no cost associated. This is simply for them to put their fiber optics in, and it covers them and us. And it's spelled, in fact, there is a provision here where number 2 on page 1, shall install is its sole cost and at its own cost and expense. So there is no
You had a motion by Carl to have a second.
Yes.
Second by Jeff. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. And then we're down to committee reports. Jeff, what do you?
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the departments that came to that meeting since we had our last regular board meeting with the auditors. I think it was helpful. We got some issues resolved. And I'd like to thank all of the departments. I think pretty much everybody was represented there. And I think it's worked out well. I think, there's always problems with an audit, but I think it's done well. I'm relying on Donnie here telling us that it is. As far as the budget, I've already covered that at the last study session, but we are in fact heading in the direction we should be heading, and we're watching everything all the time, and I think that's the key to it, is just to stay on top of it, and we'll do that. So I'd like to thank everybody, I'd like to thank the committee, and so we'll move on, and we'll be fine.
Thank you. Carl?
Union negotiations are ongoing. We've got meetings set up with both the jailers, dispatchers, and road deputies for later this week.
ESDA, we had a meeting Tuesday night, or Monday night. Kit's well on board, but now we've, and there's planning all kinds of exercises, and has done a remarkable job of transitioning as quick as she has. So, I mean, there's nothing really.
Ben?
I didn't let you know, because I can't, but I can now. All the information on the hazard mitigation has been transmitted. That was an issue we discussed at the committee meeting.
Okay.
And that has been done. They're checking it over. So if there's any flaws or defects, that we can get it caught up, but it did happen.
Okay.
Now, Ben.
Insurance. We've got 3 employees that are turning 65 and going to remain working. So there's changes in the insurance because you have the opportunity to get on Medicare. And we had a insurance committee meeting, and there's some discounts at one place in addition to other place, but it comes out to be about a wash. So we're recommending that the insurance stays as it is, and the premiums,
Premiums would remain the same.
right, which is how it came out. And on the airport, we had a airport meeting last night, and the advisory board voted to recommend Donna Bennett to replace Chris Patrick on the board at that meeting. And I don't know if it's appropriate that we do that now. It is a recommendation from the airport committee, or if you have to,
It needs to be on the agenda, actually.
then that'll need to be put on the agenda for the next meeting, if that's the opinion of the chair. And we're going to have a special meeting next Tuesday, February 16th, at 6 o'clock, at the airport, we're still on the airport, to discuss leases and to try to get a lease. And we have a building and grounds meeting at 11 o'clock today.
We need more meetings.
That's all I have on my report.
Let's go.
Dan.
Animal shelter, I missed the meeting. I apologize. I called Andrew and apologized. Now my wife's in charge of my meeting days, so she'll remind me when I have meetings. So I apologize to her. And motor fuel tax, I talked to Aaron a couple times, and things out there kind of up for grabs or on hold, so until the conflict of interest is resolved, so can't really report much on that, but I met with him a couple times.
What kind of time frame? What are we looking at there?
No idea.
Because what kind of time frame are we up against on some of these so-called things that are on hold? Has anybody identified where we're at on that? What kind of exposure we have?
No, Aaron is a basket case, because he says he really can't do much till he finds out for sure on conflict of interest, so right now, most of the funding is given withheld. From his point of view, I don't know, this is what he says.
What's he basing it on? I mean, is it telephone calls or carrier pigeon, or has he got some kind of a letter that says, here's what's going to happen, signed by so-and-so?
He says he has letters, and I think all of us have seen copies of the letters. You have a copy of the letters.
I've got a copy of the letter from Mr. Crow.
Mr. Lackey was at the meeting last week and made some comments. So. I don't know, you have to ask him.
I know I talked to him the other day, and there was one project that I think the deadline to apply for it was around the first week of March. And you guys, you said there was a deadline on the Ike. Do you know what that deadline is?
The middle of April.
April.
Well, why aren't we applying for it? I don't understand. What's it going to hurt to apply for it?
It's already been applied for.
For this?
For Ike?
Yeah.
We've already got it.
Well, we're talking about this deadline for a
I'm not
project.
saying that deadline. I'm saying he says that the money that has been withheld from the state on these projects until the conflict of interest is resolved.
Okay.
So that's just why he tells me, so I'm not an expert on the highway department.
No, I know, I don't expect you to. I'm just wanting to know let's get to the bottom of this and get it solved.
Well, it's supposed to be solved by the state, I talked to Mark Islip on making a decision on the conflict of interest, and he has not made a definite decision on, so at this particular time, no one has made a definite decision.
And we can't make a decision without the opinion of the state's attorney or the attorney general.
Right.
So
So
basically,
our hands are tied.
So our answer to Brockton and Metcalf is get an answer from the state.
Right, or from ISOC.
Or the state's attorney. And that's what we've requested.
Yeah, we made the request, and
I made the request the other morning. I didn't get an answer.
we're gonna have to keep a close eye on this, and we just can't just let it go, but we're still at their mercy.
Right.
But we gotta be
That's where we're at.
conscious
I
of
mean,
these deadlines.
Yes.
Nobody has made a definite decision, so.
But we gotta, it's up to us to see that,
But an answer is made.
get an ansser, that we don't miss these deadlines, so this is.
So that's my question, when you say deadline, the deadline, what are you talking about, deadline?
I don't know.
I can give you an answer if you want one.
Well, yeah, I'll extract an answer from you.
On the, one in particular is the PATH program, adjacent to one of the roads, there's a PATH, and I
That's
believe
what I
it's a
talked to
DNR program.
Okay.
In order to have the application submitted, those applications require county board action with signatures, of which Mr. Patrick would have to sign those, because he signs contracts on behalf of the county, and he can't sign those.
Well, the co-chairman can sign.
That's not what the law says.
Know what the state said either? The letter said he could not.
The letter said he cannot.
Right.
Okay.
That's just not what the county engineer told us, is it?
So there's a way that the county board can pass something, I haven't seen the document, to have someone else do the signing, vice chairman. And we're looking into that till we get a definite answer, because we don't want this money and these potential grants to go by the wayside. There's too much at stake here.
But do you know whether Mr. Lawson has went ahead and done all the paperwork and has submitted it, and we're ready to? Okay.
Yes. On that one particular.
Yeah, I think on that one, it's just a
Yes.
matter of signing for the final application for it.
Right.
Well, I guess the question in everybody's mind is, why aren't we moving forward on getting this resolved?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we are. We are. Well, I'm going to see to it that we can get something done. Okay. I've talked to Ms. Lawson, and I'm pursuing it.
Okay.
Any other comments?
Just so you know, I was contacted by one township supervisor. They just basically said what they'd read in the paper and coffee shop talk, wanted to make sure that the township motor fuel tax isn't in jeopardy. And Jeff happened to come in one day, and he's not aware of it being in jeopardy, but I'm at least relaying their concerns. And I've already gotten, not saying who, been asked about the article in the paper last night about the funding for the school. The snide remark was, so our taxes are going to go up even more. I'm just saying that's the stuff I'm hearing out there, and I don't know that I agree with that. I don't know if you've seen the article. Was it in last night's or the night before, Gary?
Which article?
Basically,
That the state isn't going,
Yeah.
paying Paris 95? I think that was, yeah.
And you know what, I read it, and I think there's still light at the end of the tunnel, but once again, when you're dealing with the state, I don't know what kind of remedy they're going to, how punctual it's going to be as far as funding.
Any other comments? All I can say about this conflict of interest is we're waiting on the state. They have been written. I don't think that they use the word in jeopardy. I don't think they've said anything about not getting it, other than it's possible. And it seems to be one or two persons at the state's opinion, and that seems to differ the higher up you get. So until we get a definitive written answer from the state, the feds have already given theirs, and you all have a copy of that letter. That was early on. The Federal Highway Administration had already made their determination, and it was in conflict with the state, and they didn't agree. So anyway, it is being worked on. still waiting for the state to make a determination. Anything else? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Carl, Jeff, second. All in favor,